Hey friends, welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Christine, and we have been given another gift from our friends, a giant zucchini. And yes, it literally is the size of my arm. And we are going to be making automatic bread maker zucchini bread. And I just thought I'd share with you the different steps on my specific bread maker and my favorite recipe. So I just thought I'd bring you with, so come on with. Okay, so first things first, I'm gonna get this monster cleaned up, and then I'm actually gonna send it through my food processor to put into slices, which I think I have it on small shred right now, and that'll just be the easiest way to deal with this big guy. So I'm just gonna kind of chop the ends, and then I'm just going to cut it and then get the guts out, and then like I said, I'm gonna send it through. Okay, so I've got it all peeled, ready to go, and now I just need to cut it into the smaller chunks. I actually only need, 3/4 of a cup of shredded zucchini for this specific recipe, so the rest I am going to freeze for zucchini muffins or zucchini omelets in the morning, what have you. So this is just the way that I quickly can shred something. Kind of have a bum arm right now, so I'm not messing around too much with it. Using a manual shredder. Love having this Vitamix food processor, just kind of makes my life easier. So I'm gonna get to shredding, and we'll see how much this one zucchini actually shreds up to. So I can fill this up to, I don't know, it says 64 ounces. So we'll see how much this actually shreds up. Okay, there we go. It pretty much filled this entire thing up. So that one zucchini from our friends literally filled up this whole thing. So I'm so grateful for it. Wow, yeah. So there we go. I literally, like I said, only need 3/4 of a cup. So I'm gonna get this packaged up, and this is going to be the first thing that we put into our bread container. So I'll get the 3/4 cup ready. Okay, so normally with a regular bread maker, you have to put things in a specific order. So according to my bread machine, it's a Cuisinart, that the way that I'm putting it in right now is the way that they would like you to put it in. So I'm using olive oil instead of vegetable oil, which the recipe calls for, and I am actually just using my little misto, and I'm just gonna spray the bottom of the pan quick. So first things first, just so it's not sticking. And this is going to be for a 1.5 pound bread. So I've got that coated. And because zucchini has so much water in it, that you really don't need to add water to this recipe. So I'm adding my 1/3 cup of regular olive oil. And then next I'm adding the 3/4 of a cup. That's all I needed for this recipe, but I needed to use that zucchini up, and we'll just have fun. My husband was looking up recipes. He just said zucchini pancakes. That sounds good. And maybe some zucchini muffins and zucchini dessert of some sort. So that's the zucchini, 3/4 of a cup. And then I have been letting these eggs sit out, getting to room temperature. So 2 large eggs. I happen to have farm fresh brown eggs on hand. So there's 1 and 2, and whole yolks, everything, all in one. And then I do have brown sugar I'm using. It's my homemade brown sugar. What you do is you just take your regular sugar and then just add molasses to it. So this is my homemade brown sugar. It is 1/3 cup, and it is packed in there. So we're adding that to the mix. And then regular sugar, you probably could use honey instead, but I'm just gonna follow this specific recipe, and I'm just adding 3 tablespoons of granulated sugar. And then for the flour, 1.5 cups of, I use my organic all-purpose flour. We're adding right to it. I'm kind of sifting it in there. Not really, but, and then we get to the seasonings. So it just depends on what you like. We are going to add 1 full teaspoon kind of a heaping of cinnamon. You can go a little bit less if you'd like. We like cinnamon, it has a lot of medicinal purposes. And then the ground allspice. That's kind of a fun one, just a little smidge of that. So, which kind of has a little bit of everything. So 1/4 teaspoon of that, and I can smell it already. It smells so good. And for fun, I love nutmeg, and I have fresh nutmeg that we are just going to grind inside a little bit. And just to give it a little bit of nutmeg flavor. This is definitely optional. It's one of those things you either love or hate. There we go. That's probably 1/4 teaspoon or so. I think that's great. And then salt. It's just going to be another, let's see, where's my teaspoon? Teaspoon of salt. It's my Redmond's real salt. And then to baking, we are doing 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. Just putting it right on top. And 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. I'm just kind of scraping it off the sides, making it level. And a lot of people add walnuts, raisins, etc. to their recipe. I'm using what I have on hand, and I have pecans. So this is roughly 1/3 cup of pecans. And I just kind of had crunched them up, and I'm just kind of sprinkling them in. And voila, we are ready to put this on the bread maker. And it's kind of just a set it and forget it kind of thing. That's what I love about my bread machine. So I'm gonna get this, and I'll get you up close to what settings that I use. Okay, here we go. We are getting ready to put the bread into the machine. So mine, you actually have to place it sideways first, and then click it into place. So like I said, we are going to be making 1.5 pounds, and I'm just going to close it. So the other thing I like to have by is a spatula to kind of scrape down the sides. So right now I'm gonna get it set up. I'm just gonna close the lid, and I'm just gonna zoom in for a second. So I am getting ready to click the buttons. I'm gonna get it plugged in because that's what turns the machine on. And you kind of see that it's already set at 2 pounds. So I'm gonna go through loaf size. That's 1, there's 1.5. And then the other thing that I need to do is I'm going to hit the menu button. And you can see the different settings on this. And I am going to set it for number 7 here, cake and quick. That's what specifically says for mine. So I'm going to go to, so right now it's at menu 1. So 7 for 1.5 pounds. And I'm literally going to press start. You'll hear some action. Let's scoot back over. And this is where your spatula comes in handy. You can see the blade mixing it around. This is a single blade machine that I picked up at Goodwill, believe it or not. I couldn't even believe my eyes. I picked it up for about $15. And you just kind of go through and kind of scrape the sides down to make sure it all gets incorporated. And I just kind of keep moving that flour towards the middle. So I feel like it's all incorporated. So I'm literally going to just kind of let it do its thing. I'll bring you back as it goes through the different phases, but it'll start turning a little bit faster here shortly, but it's looking pretty good. Okay, so it's done doing the mixing part. It looks good. So let's see what we're at. So it is doing the baking. So it's gonna bake for 1 hour and 30 minutes. It's a very quick setting. So we'll see what it looks like after it's done. I feel like I wanna take the middle out. So maybe I'm just gonna do that real quick. So it'll be a nice even loaf. So I got that middle paddle out, and I'm just gonna do something fun. I'm just gonna add some dark chocolate chips to the very top and just kind of sprinkle them all over, and we'll see how it turns out. I've never done this before with the zucchini bread, but who doesn't want a little bit of sweet? There we go, that should be good enough. There we go, we'll see how it bakes up. So we are at about 11 minutes left, and I'm feeling like it's going to be overdone. So it is looking done. I have my little poker. I'm just kind of checking down in the middle, and it's coming out clean. And I'm just kind of checking in different areas. So I think I'm just going to turn it off early and get it out of there and get cooling. Okay, I've got a lot going on. I am in the middle of making zucchini pancakes, testing out a different recipe. And like I said, this is looking done. So we'll see how easily this comes out. Onto my cooling, wow, onto my cooling rack. And I won't even do a take two. So there you go. Came out nice and clean, obviously. It came flying out, and yeah, it looks pretty good. So I'm gonna let this totally cool. I might throw it in the fridge a little bit so that I can finish up my video. But yeah, it is looking really good. I'm happy. I've been kind of checking it. My bread maker does run a little bit warm, but we'll check it out and see what the inside looks like. Okay, here we go. I have my good bread knife out. Used it a few times, and I have to say I'm really liking it. So it's been cooling down over an hour, and with a little bit of a quick chill as it came flying out of my machine. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of cutting here and check what the inside looks like. Looks great. And I'm gonna give this piece a test taste. And we'll get this video closed up. It looks great. Okay, so there you go. That is one of my favorite recipes that we use for zucchini bread around here, with a few little added touches. Thought I'd throw those chocolate chips right on the end and just make it even more wonderful. So I did end up turning it off a little bit early, so make sure if you are using a bread machine that you keep an eye on it. And, you know, for the most part, you don't have to watch it absolutely, but, you know, kind of when it gets to the end, make sure that it is not overdoing it. So now, for the fun part, I get to taste it. And I want the part that has a little baby chocolate chip on. It actually, so it is very moist in the middle, and the outside has a little bit of a more firm crust, but that's kind of how I like it. And it's delicious. It actually almost tastes a little buttery. So, and there's no butter really in it. So let me know what you think of this recipe. And I'm going to get this cut up and then sectioned off, and I do like to freeze some of it. I cut it in a little bit thinner slices, and then you can kind of warm it up in your toaster oven, what have you. You can actually kind of throw it on a pan as well. My other project that I've been doing, using the rest of that zucchini up, I actually made zucchini pancakes. So I'll save that for another video for you guys sometime. They turned out great. Kind of tweaked a little bit of a fun recipe. And yeah, so I made literally 24 little zucchini pancakes. So thanks for stopping by my channel. And if you like simple recipes like this, literally the machine did it all for me basically, hit that like and subscribe, and I will see you next time on Christine's Routines. Take care and God bless. And that breeze feels so good. It's a warm one in the kitchen today. And yes, it's like the size of my arm. We are going to be making bread maker. That's what it's called, right? Yeah.